trying to pray, but where are you? I'm not searched out, heard and of you. I can't say what's left to do. Truth is,
Those that got your weapons with you, turn with me to the book of John, that 19th chapter. And I'll use one verse, that 17th verse. John 19, and that 17th verse. You have arrived here indicated by saying amen. Amen. And he, bearing his cross, went forth unto a place of school, which called in Hebrew Garden. You may be seated. My name is Levi Goldgood. I am a member of the distinguished tribe of Judah. I used to be a cross maker. In 4 AD in Palestine where I lived, cross making was a booming business. I made a good living in that business until that Friday when I was forced to put my skills to use. You see, I'm the man that built the cross that Jesus died on. Even now, the guilt sometimes overwhelms me like a tidal wave. These days I go around the country sharing my testimony. I call them the confessions of an ex-cross maker. There were not many Jews in my line of work. First, the law required that one must sign a league with Herod in order to be in the cross-making business. I was looked upon by my people at best guilty of treason. And at worst, I was in league with the devil. I never wanted to be a cross maker. My family was all sheep herders. And they sent me off to tailoring school to learn how to make clothes out of the sheep's wool. One summer I was given a job at the Salon lumber mill there in Jerusalem. And what started out as a part-time job quickly turned into a permanent position. You should have been there. Business was booming in Jerusalem. The city was alive. And the demand for wood far out succeeded its supply. The money was good. I thought I could pay my way through tailoring school. The truth is, I never did like those old sweatshop teachers and those old boring tailoring shops. But I enjoyed being around the lumberjacks. I enjoyed hearing them talk about how the saws had put the wounds on them. And I especially liked when they would talk about their wives. Everybody said that I was the best young lumberjack there at the Salon lumber mill. And my work quickly paid off because I quickly made it up the corporate ladder. The man who owned the company named was Mr. Silverstein. Mr. Silverstein promoted me to second in command. And not long after my promotion, Mr. Silverstein died. And a year after that, his wife died of a broken heart. So there I was, church. The lawyer said I owned everything at the Salon lumber mill. I made some changes and became the top 10 lumber company in Jerusalem. And then the recession came. Y'all know about a recession, is that right? And it lasted longer than we expected. Some people lost their business. Some lost their homes. Others lost everything they had. Although I had been a good steward, I was on the edge of bankruptcy. That's when I became a desperate man. Seemed like fate would have it. One day a Roman soldier came by my shop and offered to buy all the lumber that I had. He said there had been an insurrection up around Jerusalem and we need 2,000 crosses. I knew what it meant to put my name on the dotted line. But if I hadn't, I'd have lost everything I had. So I quickly signed my name on the dotted line. And there I was, church, making crosses for the Roman army. Do you know anything about the Romans? Their empire lasted about 500 years. And like locusts on a field, they would swoop down, killing everything, leaving only death and destruction in their path. If you said anything about their leader Herod, you could end up on one of my crosses. Crosses was easy to make. I simply saw out a long post for a vertical beam, and I saw out a short post for a horizontal beam. Then I notched them both together so they would fit perfect with one another. The good crosses I made, I brought Lebanon up from cedar up from Lebanon. They were the good crosses. On the good crosses, I made a vertical beam and sawed out a hole in the middle. And I put a peg in the middle, and we called that a saddle. On the saddle, there was two reasons why I put the saddle there. One was it prolonged suffocation. And the other one was when they lift you up, your skin wouldn't tear off of your bones. Those were my good crosses. On my cheap crosses, the Romans had to burn them and throw them away. But on my good crosses, they'd wash them down and use them over and over and over again. I never shall forget it. That Thursday evening, long after Evelyn and I had gone to bed, when there came a knock at my shop, I heard this loud and angry voice call my name. Levi! Levi! Open in the name of the Roman governor. I slid out of my bed, put on my tunic. It felt like a python had wrapped itself around my heart. Because I knew if it was a soldier at my door this time of night, there was trouble in there. And I could only hope it was business he wanted. And that I wasn't the object of his business. He told me there was a trial going on. I dare ask him any questions. But it did dawn on me that night trials were illegal. I said to him, you only have 2 thieves. Why do you need one of my good crosses? He assured me by Friday morning there would be a third to be crucified. And he wanted one of my good crosses. I assured him that he would have those 3 crosses. I stayed up all night long. And long before the sun rose on Friday morning, I delivered them crosses to Antonio Fortress, adjacent to the temple area. And I made my way back home. I was not a religious Jew, but I was just glad it was Passover. I didn't have to open my business that weekend, and so I had my typical Jewish breakfast of unleavened bread. And when I finished breakfast, I went out to the street to be among the crowd of people who had came to Jerusalem for the Passover. As I elbowed my way through the crowd, the city was alive. People were selling their wares. The city was alive. The beggars were there asking for alms. The city was alive. This crowd was infectious and excited. The city was alive. Yet in the midst of all this aliveness, there was a caravan of prisoners. The crowd that surrounded these criminals was not your usual crucifixion crowd. This crowd was meaner than usual. They were cheering, they were spitting, they were shaking their fists. And it all seemed to be centered around the one they called Jesus. They seemed not to be satisfied. The very presence of Jesus seemed to draw venom from their hearts. I heard them cry out, "Crucify him! Crucify him!" Then Jesus stumbled and fell where I was standing. And everything inside of me wanted to reach down and help him. But I knew the brutality of the Roman army. So my emotions was held in check. And then suddenly, Jesus struggled to get to his feet. And as he struggled, his eyes met mine. I've never been so captured by a look. His look was the one of profound peace. His look was that of strength. Although he was the one being driven, there was something about his demeanor that said he was still in charge. I don't know what made me follow that day. The soldier was there, meaner to have drawn the unlucky duty to work in that slime-infested place somewhere on the backside of the Roman Empire. The curiosity seekers were there. They found their sport wherever they could. And way back over on the hill was a band of ripping disciples. That's the first time I saw a church. Silhouette over there on the backdrop was the hill we call school. And order went out. Prisoners to the ground. They stretched Jesus' hands out wide. His hair had matted to his blood-soaked wound. They had took a thorn of reeds and pressed it down on his brow. His clothes had stuck to the blood running down his side. And when you were nailed to the cross as a criminal, you first must get a scourge. They got the biggest, the baddest Roman soldier in town. And he had a whip of 9 tails. And in that whip he had bone, metal, and glass. And when he hit you, he would literally tear skin right off your bone. Some people never made it to one of my crosses. They died right after the scourge. And after they drove a nail in his right hand, they drove another nail in his left hand. They drove a long spike in his feet. Jesus was bleeding from all parts of his body. And And then they lifted him up. I don't know what happened. But as they was lifting Jesus up, he drew me. The more they lifted him, the more he drew me. That's the first time I heard him speak. He said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Anger was in my heart. So I said to myself, because I was scared to say it out loud, I said, no, Jesus, don't forgive them. Spit on them, curse them, but don't forgive them. And then all them faces who had died on my cross started popping up around me saying, death to the cross, mate. I said, yes, Jesus, forgive us. And then two thieves was hanging on each side of Jesus. The thief on the left, right side said to Jesus, some Messiah you turned out to be. Look at you now dying like a common criminal. You be God, save yourself, and us too. The thief on the left got upset with his partner in crime and said, hold your thievery tongue. This man has done nothing. We deserve to die. But this man has done nothing. And then the one on the left looked at Jesus and said, Master, Master, when you come into your kingdom, will you remember me? Now, I'm not sure about this church. I was way back in the back. But as I was looking, it looked like just for a moment, Jesus stopped dying. It looked like for a moment there was a rally going on. It looked like Jesus put death on hold and looked at the thief and said, today, you will be with me in paradise. Then Jesus dropped his head in the locks of his shoulder and gave up the ghost. And when he dropped his head, the sun went out. The air down that hill got hard to breathe. The ground under my feet started reeling and rocking like a drunk man. I said, I better get out of here. As I raised my feet up to run, I heard somebody say, surely! Surely! This man was the Son of God. I ran home, but I could not run my sense of guilt. I cried, but my tears would not wash away my pain. You see, I'm the man that built a cross that Jesus died on. I went home. I closed my shop door to hide my guilt. And I said to myself, surely he was a good man, but not the Son of God. So I asked God, let Friday pass from me. Let this day called Friday just go on by. And then it was Saturday. But to my utter amazement, Saturday was worse than Friday. You see, Friday we had Jesus for half a day. But